Hey guys, Taylor here, and welcome to Domain 4 of our Manufacturing Guide to CMMC 2.0. Today we're going to discuss a topic that our non-technical audience you might feel a bit uneasy about. It's configuration management. And we get it. It seems like a pretty complex topic, but NIST guidelines have made the necessary controls quite clear for us here. So with a little guidance and consistent checkups, any team can create a plan that meets CMMC Level 2 standards. To understand configuration management, first we need to understand a simple concept: shifting threat landscapes. What does it mean? Well, simply put, the threats we work against today will likely be irrelevant tomorrow. Bad actors work fast, and your systems need to be updated to match that. At Micro Solutions, we have a simple mantra that serves as the overarching theme of this domain. Systems drift and decay unless you deliberately hold them steady. So let's start there. That single idea explains why configuration management exists. Not because auditors like paperwork, not because compliance frameworks enjoy complexity, but because over time systems change, whether you want them to or not. Every environment will drift. Settings get adjusted to solve a quick problem. Software gets updated on one machine, but not another. Permissions get added temporarily and then just never revisited by the team. A workaround becomes the new normal. You might recognize that part. None of this happens because people are careless. It happens because businesses are busy. It's a good thing. In manufacturing especially, uptime matters. ERP systems cannot stall. CNC machines can't wait. Shop floor continuity always comes first. So changes get made to keep production moving. Configuration management exists to make sure that when those changes happen, the environment stays predictable, recoverable, and understood. Not locked down, definitely not frozen in time, just known. Because when you know what your systems are supposed to look like, you can tell when something isn't right, far before it becomes downtime. All right, let's talk a little bit about what configuration management is and what it isn't. Configuration management is about knowing what should be where and noticing when it changes. That's it. What should be where and noticing when it changes. At its core, this domain is concerned with what systems you have, how they're configured, what normal looks like, and how changes are handled over time. Most of the points relate to those, and it's going to be a lot clearer when you can start to see the controls. It's not actually about preventing change, and it's important to say, what isn't this domain? It's definitely not freezing your systems in place. It's not endless approval change. It's not slowing down production or adding red tape. And it's not requiring executive sign-off for every minor adjustment. The intent is just much simpler. If a system changes, that change should be intentional, understood, documented at the right level, and recoverable if needed. That's what the assessors care about. And most importantly, that's what operations depend on. So, 5 quick questions to ask. Before we talk about any audits or documentations, it helps to have a few practical questions locked and loaded. So the first question: do we have standard configurations for our critical systems, or are they mostly inherited over time? Second, when changes are made, are they deliberate and understood, or mostly reactive? Third, when exceptions are made, special settings, one-off adjustments, are those recorded anywhere? Fourth, if something changed without permission, would we notice? Would someone on the team notice? And fifth, if a change caused a problem, could we reliably get to a known good state? Those questions alone usually tell the story. No right answers yet, just clarity. When assessors evaluate configuration management, they're not looking for perfection. They're looking for intentional control. Typically, they want to see that you have documented configuration baselines, meaning a written understanding of how your systems are supposed to be set up. They want evidence that changes are reviewed and controlled, not necessarily slow, but deliberate. They want proof that what's running in production matches what you say should be running. And they want to see that you can detect and correct unauthorized changes in real time. In plain English, that evidence might look like a baseline document for servers, workstations, and network devices, change records showing what was adjusted and why, approval notes for meaningful changes, validation checks for confirming systems match the expectations set forth. It's really nothing exotic. It's just traceability between intent and reality. So What we see in some real environments, especially manufacturers that are growing, we see some similar patterns. There may be a golden image, but it hasn't been updated in years. Changes get made during emergency and never documented again afterwards. People rely on memory instead of records. This is the tribal knowledge issue we talk about a lot. Rollback plans exist in theory, but not in practice. None of this is negligence. It's the natural result of operational pressure and growth. When production is on the line, speed wins. Configuration management just hasn't been formalized yet. And that's pretty normal. And that's exactly why this domain exists. So let's talk a bit about what good looks like. In a well-managed environment, configuration management shouldn't feel heavy. It should feel stable. The changes happen, but their outcomes are very predictable. Surprises are rare. Troubleshooting is faster because the system state is known. Recovery is calm, not chaotic. And people can trust the environment because it behaves consistently. That confidence shows up everywhere. You're going to get fewer outages, faster incident response, smoother audits, of course, and less operational stress. Good configuration management creates quiet reliability. So practically speaking, this domain comes together in 4 areas. First is going to be your procedures. We want to define baseline configurations. We need to establish how the changes are requested, approved, and recorded. Document how exceptions are handled. Second, people. We've got to be clear about who approves these changes, who documents them, and who verifies that the systems still align with expectations. Third, technology. We've got to use mechanisms that maintain consistency, detect drift, and support recovery, without naming any specific tools. Fourth, we've got evidence. Keep baseline documents, maintain change records, retain validation checks showing configurations remain aligned. None of it needs to be complicated. It just needs to be intentional. Now, configuration certainly doesn't stand alone. It's just one of the 14 main domains of CMMC 2.0. It supports access control. It reinforces incident response. It stabilizes system integrity, and it makes recovery possible. So, we've got an ebook for you and an implementation guide that's going to help you to achieve all the points available by doing the things we've talked about today. We're going to be able to show you how controlled change underpins multiple CMMC tasks and domains, and ultimately get you a plan to go forward and conquer. So, configuration management is not about control for its own sake. It's about control without friction. It's about making sure changes don't introduce any chaos to your world. About building environments that behave the way you expect them to. And about creating stability through intentional decisions. Well-managed systems don't resist change. They absorb it, predictably. That's what this domain's really about. Thanks for sticking around and watching the entire Domain 4. If you're ready to start diving in and tackling things, be sure to download the implementation guide.